cluster bombs over Tel Aviv, striking near Israel's military nerve center, scattering across homes, schools, streets. Israel hits back inside Iran and now eyes its energy grid. Tehran draws up its own target list. A 48-hour ultimatum hangs in the air. So who pulls the trigger next, and who loses control? Iran did something it has rarely done so brazenly. On April 4th, it fired cluster munitions directly at the heart of Israel's military command. Bomblets from those munitions landed near the Kirya, Tel Aviv's equivalent of the Pentagon, the very building where Israel's generals plan its wars. The missiles hit a parking lot and then scattered across 10 locations in central Israel: Petach Tikvah, Givatayim, Bnei Brak, and Ramat Gan. Residential buildings, parked cars, a school. 4 people were hospitalized. Sirens screamed across Jerusalem. In the north, rockets from Lebanon hit near Safed, and drone alerts went off in Metula. And then there was Moshe, a resident of Ramat Gan, whose apartment took a direct hit. He described sitting in his safe room when the explosion came.
"I'm okay, thank God. I'm a bit in shock. To hear that explosion in the seconds when you're sitting in your corner in the safe room, it's hard to put into words. I think only someone who has gone through this experience understands the magnitude of the trauma in those first moments. It breaks my heart. I had a special home. Just yesterday, I was sitting in the dining area, looking at the living room, and I said, 'Wow, what a beautiful home I have. What works of art.'"
Israel did not sit still. Over the weekend, the Israeli Air Force completed 2 separate waves of strikes inside Iran, hitting aerial defense sites, ballistic missile storage facilities, and military research infrastructure across Tehran. The IDF released footage of a truck, a mobile ballistic missile launcher, being destroyed in western Iran.
The launcher was destroyed, thereby thwarting missile firing trajectories toward the state of Israel from western Iran.
But what happens next may be far more consequential. Reuters, citing a senior Israeli military official, reported Saturday that Israel is now preparing strikes on Iranian energy facilities and is waiting on a green light from Washington. The official said any such attack would likely come within the week. That report landed hard in Tehran. Sources close to Iranian decision-makers told the Tasnim news agency that 2 of Israel's main power plants have now been added to what they called a bank of targets, ready to be hit if Iran's own energy infrastructure comes under fire. This all follows a 48-hour ultimatum that President Donald Trump issued to Iran, the details of which Washington has not publicly spelled out, but whose weight is being felt from Tel Aviv to Tehran. The question now isn't whether this escalates. It's how far it goes and whether Washington holds the leash or lets it go. The Middle East war shows no sign of ending. Missiles rain down day after day, tearing through cities and putting countless civilian lives at risk as the war rages on. That reality came into sharp focus as missiles lit up the skies over Israel in a rare coordinated assault from 3 fronts: Iran, Hezbollah and Houthi forces, striking deep into the country and jolting Tel Aviv awake to explosions, sirens, and the unmistakable signs of a rapidly widening war. According to the reports, at least 6 impact sites were reported across central Israel, including Tel Aviv, Ramat Gan, Bnei Brak, Givatayim, Petach Tikvah, and Rosh Ha'ayin. Emergency and rescue teams reported several locations sustained heavy damage, though no people were reported trapped. Officials further reported in Petach Tikvah, a woman was lightly injured by shrapnel, while elsewhere officials reported significant property damage, but no additional casualties. Ramat Gan Mayor, Carmel Shammah-Cohen, speaking at one of the impact sites, said,
"There are no casualties, but there is extensive destruction and major property damage."
However, in northern Israel, additional sirens were activated in communities near the Lebanese border, including Kfar Yuval, Metula, and Mayan Baruch, amid rocket fire attributed to Hezbollah. Separately, a drone launched from Houthis was intercepted outside Israeli territory, with no alerts activated in accordance with policy. As the situation on the ground continues to evolve, a senior member of the Houthis claimed that the US-Israeli alliance has lost control of the battlefield and the broader strategic area since the second week of the aggression. IRNA on Saturday quoted Nasser al-Din Amer as saying that Iran's rapid and powerful response in the first hours after the assault demonstrated that the enemy's calculations were flawed. He argued that Iran proved far stronger than anticipated, pointing to what he characterized as confusion and disarray in opposing statements following the strikes. Amer further added that one of the main expectations of the opposing side had been mass riots leading to instability and the collapse of Iran's system.
Instead, public mobilization against the aggression dealt a heavy blow to those plans.
He also pointed to early calls by US President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu urging Iranians to rise up, saying such rhetoric has since disappeared. Amer further stressed that the United States and its allies had previously failed to secure maritime routes in those regions, adding that even Israeli ports remained closed during the Gaza genocide. He warned that any potential ground offensive by the United States would provide Iran with an opportunity to inflict greater losses. For years, the world watched FPV drones tear through armored columns on the frozen fields of eastern Ukraine. Small, cheap, and devastatingly accurate, these first-person view drones became the defining weapon of the Russian war. Now, the same technology has shown up on the hills of South Lebanon, and Israel is feeling the blow. In recent days, IDF fighters operating inside Lebanon began reporting something new. Small explosive drones carrying explosive charges weighing a few kilograms started appearing near them and then exploding. One incident, roughly a week ago, saw one of these drones reach a settlement right next to the Israeli fence. It hit close to 2 military vehicles. The vehicles were damaged. Soldiers were lucky to walk away. But recent footage reveals direct hits on Israeli positions, with the IDF reporting injuries among troops. What makes these drones difficult to deal with is what powers them: fiber optics. That means traditional jamming, the kind militaries rely on to knock drones out of the sky, simply does not work here. The signal runs through a wire, not the air. There is nothing to intercept. This clearly shows that Hezbollah might be using or cloning Russian technology for their own benefit. In order to change the situation, a number of moves are being considered, which are aimed at protecting the maneuvering forces and assisting them in their mission. Among these are advancing the Iron Dome system northward and deploying autonomous armoured personnel carriers. The IDF has confirmed injuries among troops from similar strikes. Fighters describe the encounters as reminiscent of what soldiers in Ukraine have been living through for years. That comparison is not casual. But even as the drone threats emerge, Israel is not pulling back. The IDF is reinforcing its control in southern Lebanon, and senior officials are blatantly saying that old boundary isn't enough.
The Litani line is no longer relevant. In order to provide real security to the residents of the north, a new border line needs to be established in the Awali.
The Litani River has long been the benchmark, the line that defined the buffer zone between Israel and Hezbollah. Moving that marker all the way to the Awali River means pushing Hezbollah significantly further north than it has ever been pushed before.
This is the only way we can provide real security to the residents of the north.
The IDF was forced to take the decision as the residents of the north have experienced incessant shelling from Lebanon. During the holiday alone, Hezbollah launched 150 rockets at Israeli communities, disrupting the holiday routine and forcing many to spend a lot of time in shelters. In response, the IDF is moving fast. The Iron Dome missile defense system is being repositioned closer to maneuvering forces in Lebanon because most of Hezbollah's fire is now directed at troops in the field, not just cities back home. The Air Force commander visited Northern Command this week to personally assess how better to support ground operations. And there is something else being considered: autonomous armored personnel carriers, loaded with explosives, driven into the center of villages before foot soldiers enter. It is the same method used in Gaza. The goal is to reduce the risk to troops before they go in on foot. What is unfolding here is not just a military operation expanding in scope. It is a conflict where technology is evolving faster than the rules of engagement. Cheap drones threaten tanks. Autonomous vehicles replace point men. And a border that's being held of decades is being redrawn not on the negotiating table but on the ground, village by village.